Hello everyone. I'm back with Andrew and we were just talking about health and how me and we've been doing garlic, beet chews, stuff like that and a bunch of healthy stuff and our bodies feel a lot better.
Okay, and this is why I wanted because we were talking right before this, and this is why I wanted us to go recording because I want the audience to hear this. Have you noticed that you've been putting that good stuff in your body? Have you noticed the directed energy weapons become less effective?
Yes.
Okay, so this is exactly what I've been trying to say to the audience, my audience and your audience, is that your body is not naturally conductive. It's only naturally conductive along the nervous system. You know what I mean? Like that's where electrical impulse goes. It goes from your brain to down the nerves, back up, back to the brain, and it's how you control. It's how you move around. Okay. The uh, the the way directed energy weapons work effectively is with synthetic biology growing in within you. Now, another word for synthetic biology would be nanomachinery. Where that comes from is from your environment. I don't want to get too far into that so we don't get anything demonetized or flagged or whatever. But let's just say it's all around you. You breathe it in, you eat it, so forth, so forth. Everybody has it. Okay. The people that aren't being actively targeted, that synthetic biology, nanomachinery clots. Let's just leave it at that. It causes all sorts of complications, all the complications we've been seeing around the last however many years. You know what I'm talking about, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most people do, especially if you're a target,
And
you'll
I
know.
even posted I
Yeah.
posted two different studies on garlic in my community post and one of them was they gave it to mice and it shrunk tumors, cancer tumors.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's lots and lots of studies of this. Okay, we'll get into that in just a second.
Doesn't stop
This,
lasers from getting burnt.
the way, does Holly want to say something?
And she says it doesn't stop lasers from burning her skin though, but you do
No,
feel better.
it won't.
I feel better, but I still have holes in my skin from lasers.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's not going to stop the actual directed energy weapons because when you're here's what I'm trying to say. You have this artificial construction that takes your tissues and makes it conductive. That's what allows channels of polarization. All right? And what polarization means is you've taken energy like electricity and you create this distance of positive and negative electricity. And the greater that distance gets, just for this metaphor, the greater the voltage gets. The greater the voltage gets, the more you're going to be incapacitated by these weapons, just
Yeah.
generally speaking.
Now
There
my
are,
body feels 100% better. I will tell you, it don't help with V2K though.
yeah, it's not going to help because you're talking about layers of weapon systems, right?
Right.
And the main thing that's going on right now with targeted individuals is these artificial external electromagnetic fields becoming internal electromagnetic fields. Okay, that's the main thing. But there's also other weapon systems that have been invented well before this that are active, like V2K, for example, or like Holly was saying, lasers directly targeting her skin.
Yeah, she gets
If
actual burns.
if there's a line of sight with a drone weapon system or a stationary weapon system, it has to be a line of sight though. Then enough energy can be transmitted to cause physical burns. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because we have
exactly.
three drones that hover above the house 24 hours a day, and then one that hovers above my job. It's always there. So I used to get burned at work, from ear to ear, all over
Hmm.
my face, all over my neck.
But they have been burning you less since you've been doing
Yeah, it
the
has been
holistic
less.
stuff.
Yeah, it has been less, but they've burnt
Hmm.
multiple holes in my face,
Hmm.
pin needle holes, like laser needle, like really thin lasers. Anyway,
Hmm.
sorry. Sorry.
No, 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 no. That's a really relevant because this is Holly. Please join the conversation because
Yeah.
the more people that question this in real time, the more people are going to understand this in the audience. It's important
You
that
can't
because
be going and eating fast food every day and all these food with this bio something at what is it bio something like when you read on it content a bioengineered food
yeah.
and expect to feel good. You just can't.
Well, there is the mineral and all that stuff,
And
but
plus
there
you got
is
to keep your body totally detoxing at all times because they keep pumping
yes.
the air and everything with it.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So the air is full of it, right? You're getting heavy metals in the food supply. Those things, the nanomachinery is building in the subcutaneous layer it's moving through the blood, it's going to the fascia, which is the connective
Smart dust
tissue.
initially, what you can call it too.
Yeah, you could call it smartest because sometimes it is. Sometimes it's bigger filaments that look like spider webs. Sometimes it's in between that. Sometimes it's in your clothes. Sometimes it's in your food. So it
An
comes
air conditioner suck it in through the house and
exactly.
yeah.
It's been going on since 1994, 96. That's when they started doing this whole scale. So we've had this growing in us for a very long time. Targeted individuals, what they're doing is they're manicuring it. I don't know the right word for that. They're specifically with EMF, external magnetic fields, they're arranging it in your body, usually on the left side. Now, Holly, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, underneath, they're focusing on keeping pockets of this underneath your skin. Okay, so when the laser interacts with it, it can burn those craters. That's how that works. If you think about it like a bag of water, right? Like
It
you're a bag.
also activates the histamine in your skin, which is
Oh,
why,
it has thousands of effects
yeah.
outside what we're talking about. I'm just talking about the one that I know well,
Right.
right?
Right.
The underneath your skin, you'll have pockets of this synthetic biology, nanomachinery, and heavy metals. It's all clumped together because the heavy metals are used by the nanomachinery to build itself. Okay. When that laser hits it, it's like putting a coin on a stove versus putting a thing of water, right? Like the metal in on like just like a regular old coil stove, right?
Right.
You put the penny on there or the knife or whatever, it's going to heat up really, really fast, the fork, whatever it is. If you
Right.
put the water there, it's going to take a long time to boil, a lot more energy.
Right.
That's why they need the heavy metals, synthetic biology, nanomachinery,
To
weapons
act as a
platform.
conductor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To move dielectric capacity through your body.
Got
Yeah.
it.
And garlic is proven to dispose of metals in the body.
Yes. Okay, so how that works is all of the heavy metals and nanomachinery is grouped together in a sticky ball of a mess in these biofilms. That's where the biofilms come in. That's a part of this. They produce these bioplaques. They bring in all this bacteria. That's also why we get these fungal, mold, yeast, bacteria growths on us. It's all connected, right? This synthetic biology nanomachinery not only has the genetic code of some bacteria in it and other life form, other parasites, it also invites them in when we become acidic.
And
So it's
garlic kills parasites too.
exactly. So it's all this big globby mess underneath our skin and it's sticky and that's what bloats us. You know what I'm talking about, Holly? Have you seen your face change?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Have you seen your foot change, your left foot?
I've seen the skin on my ankle change. Yes.
That's okay. That's another thing going on, but it's important. It's got to do with nanobots. It's a whole nother thing. It's another layer of the weapon system. But either way, uh, the reason they focus on our left side, particularly, that's why I brought this up, is because they're trying to impact the left side of our brain, right?
Hmm.
That's where our logic and reason is. And I say us because almost every targeted individual I've ever talked to, I like to call them targeted survivors because that's more accurate, are 95%, 99%, something like that, have left side symptoms primarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dang, I forgot what I was. Oh, the swelling. The swelling is the, uh, uh, I can't use the word for it. It's a uh, hydro substance, right? It's the same thing,
Uh-huh.
but it's this is the non experimentation version. This is the synthetic biology version, and it's a bioplaque. And that in that bioplaque is that nanomachinery, like I was talking about. So when you're seeing the swelling, it's your lymph nodes, your lymphatic system swelling up with this material.
Yeah.
Okay, so what garlic is doing, that's all a sticky
It's
mess.
boosting your immune system too.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of
Because
stuff.
see,
But
my left lymph node, I was telling Holly the other day, it started
uh
swelling.
yeah,
And I
okay,
did
great.
garlic like 3 times more that day, and it didn't last long, did it? And it went
No.
down.
Sure
I'm
do.
so glad you're noticing this, man. This is like the huge breakthrough. This is really the big breakthrough that's gonna.
And you got to press garlic. You
Uh-huh.
got to get a garlic presser and press it and wait 10 minutes for the allicin to activate in it.
Okay, so electrically, there's something happening with the garlic. Okay, all the chemical compounds, like the allicin you were talking about, create an electrical effect. And what that does is it takes that sticky mess underneath your skin and it breaks it away. That's what it's doing. And then you can poop, pee, sweat, saliva. I think that's all the pathways of elimination, it out. That's what you're doing. That's what's going on. So you can use garlic, you can use onions, you can use alkaline vegetables. That's how I started figuring this out myself, like 4 years ago, something like that. That's why I've named my Rumble channel Onion Head Andrew. But there's a million other things you can do that has that electrical effect. Okay. Like for one that doesn't, it's not as effective as garlic. Garlic's super effective, is you can ground. You can literally lie down on the ground and for a while, or you can cover yourself with like dirt or mud. I'm not suggesting you do that. This is a hypothetical. I've done it before. It does work. And that will ground you. That will take off this all that sticky crap that's underneath your skin and dissolve it. Okay, so this is an electrical effect. We're talking about acidic, positive energies building up in your body, creating an environment that synthetic biology, nanomachinery can not only stay, but can proliferate, can build itself using the calories from your food.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So test me on this. Anyone that's listening, test me on this, please. You can go to my Rumblehead and Onion Head Andrew channel and look up all the different solutions, or don't even do that. Just fast. Just fast for 3 days. Don't drink water. Don't drink or don't eat food. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you to do this. This is just if you want to, okay? And on the third day, what you'll notice is a severe, a crazy reduction of directed energy weapons capacity to affect your moment to moment.
Right.
You will notice it on the third day. It takes 2 days,
And
but on the third day, 2 days to detox when
and
you don't drink.
please, if you do garlic, the
Yeah.
best way to do it is press it slow. You got to get a garlic presser. But I mean, there's other ways to press it, but the best thing to do is get a garlic presser because you want to press it real slow and wait 10 minutes. All the holistic people I watch say wait 10 minutes for the allicin to come out. After you press it,
Uh-huh.
you let it sit for 10 minutes. The allicin works out, and boom,
Eat it and chase it with water.
yeah, chase
Yeah.
it with water.
And if
Because
you don't even want to do that, there's drrobertyoung.com, alkaline diet. Look up the alkaline diet on drrobertyoung.com.
okay,
He's been targeted since 2017 or something like that also. But the alkaline diet is doing the exact same thing the garlic is doing. It's providing your body with antioxidants. Antioxidants have a negative charge.
Right.
They find the synthetic biology nanomachinery that has a positive charge. They mate and you poop and pee it out. That's how it works. You're
And
taking
alkaline, what about alkaline water?
alkaline water works too, but the problem with a lot of the alkaline water is it's
it's
got
getting
heavy
something
metals.
without that ain't been poisoned.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
what's funny is when they used to gang stalk the hell out of me, and they sent five of them into Walgreens or CVS, and they all grabbed a bottle of alkaline water and stood in front of me, as if to say, "You better start drinking this alkaline water."
Yeah, well, and there are layers to the people that are targeting us. Like a lot of them are entrapped in the system, so they'll do things like that. They'll tell you things occasionally that are helpful. But also it could have been that they poisoned it with heavy metals, the stuff that
Right,
Yeah,
they
it's just
right.
like that man. I needed a pair of shoes. I'm talking about. I was basically walking on my feet, and my shoes were so down at New Orleans at the Rebuild Center, and I was being gang stalked. And when I get gang stalked, homeless, man, I will walk for hours, and every time I sit down, I'm looking for kidnap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
My
yeah, yeah.
targeting is a lot harder than most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So, the dude's like, "Well, I can't give you no shoes right now. What are you doing up here?" He said, "Y'all walk away for a minute." And he talked to other homeless people that waiting on shoes. Of course, they're gonna walk away because they're getting brand new shoes, you know.
Hmm.
So and they said, he said, "Man, come back when nobody's here, I'll give you a brand new pair of New Balances. You can't tell nobody though, or I'll get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me a brand new pair of New Balances. And
Yeah.
when you're homeless, that you love that.
That was gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, there are layers to this. This is, we're looking at like the rollout, the attempts to roll out a technocratic society, right? Where like these bureaucrats and they're unelected can run these automated weapon systems and pay junkies like these fentanyl bikers that are coming after me that have been for a long time to operate them. Right.
right.
And there's a lot of people in between that are like ex-military, stuff like that, but also I don't know, just
That's one
community
thing I
support.
want, and I don't want to stay on it too long.
Yeah.
But I do eventually because I don't know how to present it yet. I've been thinking, but that's one thing that's ignored, and I don't want to scare people. That's one
Yeah.
thing that's ignored in this community.
Hmm.
There are targets that do come up missing. There's targets that get killed, outright killed.
Yeah.
It's a touchy subject, so I want to leave it
Yeah.
alone right now till I
Well,
figure out how to
actually,
present it.
I kind of want to
But I
jump in
think it
here.
needs to be brought up in the community
Well, that's why
sometime.
I want to jump in here. I've had people, gunmen, trying to kill me for the last 4 years, 3.5 years, right? They bring in prison gangs all the time on me, right? I don't know particularly which gang is on me right now, but there's almost always a gang waiting in the background to try to
And
figure
this
out
is
a good
not to
time to
scare
shoot
people.
me.
This is for the people who think, because for years I'm like, man, I've had these actual. I'm not a target because people say, oh, targets don't get hurt like that.
No,
Oh,
they do. They
they do.
100%. Actually, okay, this is a great time. Can we segue into my
Now
really
I don't
quick?
know what makes you in that category of a target.
Uh,
Don't ask me. I'm not going to pretend
yeah,
to know. But
yeah.
I really think I'm one of them categories.
Well, I think it's factors, right? Like if you're not willing to stay in their little electronic concentration camp, if you're willing to change your life on a dime to be as free as you can, that I think that puts you into the category. And then if you're finding solutions on top of that, it moves you up, right? And then if you know people on top of that, it moves you up. And then if you're doing outreach with like if you know famous people, you're doing outreach with them, that moves you up, right? And it moves you up and up and up until you get gangbangers on you 24/7 like I've had for the last 4 years. And I don't think 24/7, that's a bit of an exaggeration. But hey, do you mind if I share real quick?
Let me see if you've got permission. Sometimes I have to get permission. Yeah. Now try it.
Okay. Let's see. Can you see?
As long as it ain't gonna be nothing that's gonna.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
This is just, and then please jump in here too, Holly. This was just to help the audience. It's a brief overview of targeting factors. Now I've got a longer presentation that Dave watched. It's called How Everyone's a
Yeah, the one
Targeted
we watched the other night.
Mhm.
how everyone's a targeted individual now. And I'm going to have more presentations. I've just been waiting for the right time to produce them. But here's one that's really quick. It's like 13 slides, and it's a brief overview is internal factors versus external factors. And obviously, both are relevant. Internal factors and external factors together make you a neuroweapons human trafficking survivor. There are very few exceptions. You might think you're in the exception. You're probably not. If you haven't figured out the internal part, you haven't figured out the external part. You just need to evaluate what I'm saying. And it's all a scale. So, like, everyone thinks they've got the worst targeting ever. And that is true because it's done to make you feel that way. It's always going to be done to make you feel that way. When you break through one barrier, they're going to put more people on you and more people on you
Yep.
and more people on you. So there's always going to be a maximum resistance for their dollar, right? And that's what I mean with it's a scale which factors time, target, and money. So this is the internal factors. And again, this is really quick because I want to get back to the conversation with Dave and Holly.
Hey, what platform did you use to create that?
It's a free one. I'll show you right after.
Okay.
It's through right after we get off, I'll show
All
you
right.
it. But internal factors, it's nanomachinery that grows into synthetic biology. That could be the same term, really. It's in those words that are listed there. I'm not going to say it out loud. And 99% of the population is infected. Now, the other internal factors, I am not arguing against implants and wireless body area networks. Those very much do exist People are very much covertly implanted. There's many ways people are
Yep.
covertly implanted through doctor, dentists that are on payroll that are basically COINTELPRO agents that are put into the community specifically for that. I've got some of that myself. When I had a big carpentry accident a few years ago, I had a big leg injury, and now I've got some shit in my foot. I don't want to get into that too far, but implants, wireless body area networks are a big part of this. That's how they send data through networks to make the how the human traffickers make money, more or less. And sometimes they're used as antennas, more or less, or inductive coils to take external EMF fields and bring them internally, although that's less of a factor than the nanomachinery. Other internal factors are parasites and chronic illness. And that's the state they want you in because that's what the study really is how can they influence disease in you in specific ways and thought patterns with that disease. The external factors are, excuse me, human traffickers are deep state contractors and criminals that are hired through agencies. Okay, I said that pretty mishmash. What I meant is that sometimes they're criminal gangs and sometimes they're ex-law enforcement military. That's usually the two big groups involved in the United States of America. There's usually and usually they work together.
Okay, but hey, but
Uh-huh.
I understand what one thing you're saying, but
hmm
we're also beta tests for AI.
Yes. The AI is the software part of this. They want
Yeah.
to, that's my very last slide, and I kept it real quick because I wanted to
Oh,
end on
okay.
that. But it was future goals. I'll say it right now, doesn't matter. Future goals of this program is that they autonomize the whole system. That's what the AI is
Yeah,
for.
and they want raw. They like raw capture and raw emotion too because they're trying to teach AI emotions.
Well, yeah, and I don't know all that. There's probably quite a bit of that. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't know. I'm not.
Right.
So they covertly implant biosensors for the wireless body area networks, the human traffickers. They operate the drones and the directed energy weapons. They release, this is a big one a lot of people don't get. They release heavy metal particulate aerosols and chemical substrates that contain synthetic biology from nearby air and neighbors. If you don't have nearby neighbors, they are doing it through uh, the stuff that's in the
Yeah,
sky. Just look
Giorno
up.
talked about that too.
Did he really?
The aerosols yeah.
Yeah, that's a big part of this. Oh, that's right. When he goes talks about the pen in that presentation. He
Yeah.
goes, if I aerolize this much pen, then it could dramatically infect the whole crowd here. And yeah, so there you go. Giordano, lead spook, ethicist. That's what he calls himself, but he's a spook, is
Yeah.
what he is. Secret society guy. Anyways, that's a big part of it.
And
So,
if you watch, hey, watching
mhm,
that video yesterday, y'all will show you very well how the intelligence agencies work and how it said in that video this dude anyway they flooded the UFO community, which was nothing but government black projects covered up by supposed alien abductions and stuff, but it's really government black projects. So anyway, they flooded the community with 80% disinformation and 20% real information.
mhm,
There's a
yeah,
lot. I don't know if you've seen my video yesterday, Andrew, but there's a
I saw a little bit of it.
if you read that and listen to it, it's going to show you how it shows how they infiltrated the UFO community. They do it to all the truther communities.
Yep. They're good. Well, and for us, this is probably the most important industry in the world right now.
Yep.
Right? The elites, the so-called elites, have all of their eggs in this basket. If this doesn't work, if they can't figure out how to maim, kill all of us targeted survivors, then they're up a creek without a paddle. Because this is going to break, and it's going to break in the next few years. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't be more specific than that, but I don't think it's going longer than 5 years. I
Yeah.
really don't. It's
Duncan said 2025 it was going to come out, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Nobody
thinking a little
does.
bit. I'm thinking, yeah, nobody knows. I'm thinking a little bit longer, but
Right.
okay. And this is another huge thing with the external factors these human traffickers are doing. They're breaking into your property. They are setting up Bluetooth sensors, cameras, and mics. They're spraying nanobots. That's for a different presentation, what nanobots do. They basically make this whole thing work better. They spot weld polymers into your body, but we don't have time for that right now. They tamper with your food. They put synthetic biology and heavy metal particulate in it. They're wearing invisibility cloaks. I know that's hard to believe, but the technology's been out for a long time. And they're distributing chemtrail particulate. So the same stuff. So that's basically what I covered already with the tampering with food. And they're spraying whatever they can to make you sick. They're doing whatever they can to make you sick, to make your life worse. But they definitely, if you're a targeted survivor, they 100% are breaking into your property. This is not a remote thing. All right. A lot of people think this is remote. This is not remote. There's people in your near vicinity that are facilitating this. There has
And
to be.
hey, have you ever got so detoxed that you ate a burger or something like so unhealthy from a fast food restaurant, your body just started hurting? Like, why'd you do
100%
that to my body?
within 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it happened to me
exactly. Just
yesterday.
bam, 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 the left side of my head.
Yeah.
Happens to me all the time. Where I think I've got clean food because in the past it was clean or something like that. And I take up and it's bam, 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 left side of my head. Okay, just to keep this quick, the overall goal of individual targeting is to transform the tissues in your body to conductive material to transmit foreign voltage. Collect experimental data for medical, corporate, university, military stakeholders, and do torture, subdue, and later kill target. And again, this is all to scale. They're not going to kill you if they don't have to. They're only going to do it if they feel threatened or if they're done with the experimentation, if they're basically not making money.
Yeah.
They feel
Hey,
threatened.
Andrew, let them read the last two.
Okay, for sure. All right, moving forward, everyone, you read that?
Yeah, make sure y'all read it.
Okay, we'll go back. That's what he's talking about, the two underlining there. Okay, these are other resources that are survivors themselves. That these people have legit information. You'd follow them, you can get a lot out of this. Anna Maria Melakea, I always missay her name. She said she's been targeted for a few years. What's so good about her work is that she's got the microscopy that shows the nanotechnology that's growing within all of us. All right. So if you don't have to believe me, you can go to her. And then she's got many other sources. And I have many other sources too. This is just real quick. Tony Pantelaresco, he is an OG. He's been in the game a long time, targeted for a long time. He's the guy that invented the nano bucket. More recently, he's invented the spike and the triangle. They help get rid of nano in the body. This also is just stuff to help you. Okay, Michael Chapala, a little bit controversial because some of his treatments ended up hurting people, according to other targets that I've talked to. I don't know if that's true. This is just what people have said. But Michael was on to a very big solution for all of this, and he was, how do you want to see you reading that, Dave? How about Dave?
Unalive.
Yeah, unalived. He was unalived on 120 or 125/21. I believe and that had to do with poisoning, I
So
believe.
what do you think about ivermectin and fenbendazole?
They are good if they are not, they don't have the synthetic biology, they haven't been poisoned. So
Yeah,
basically, go back 5 years, take the ivermectin and fenbendazole from back then, it'll help you. But anything now, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor. We're not doctors, right, Dave? We're not doctors. We're not
right.
telling you to do anything, just to be clear
Yeah.
about this. Okay, so Michael
We're
was,
just telling you what is helping us.
yeah. So Michael Chapala on 125/21 was unalived. He had figured out basically what I'm telling you right now. And that's that uh, if you just quickly read this, this is from his
Yeah,
website,
leave that up there for a second, please.
Morgellonscure.com. That was his website before he left. And on the blue side is negative, on the red side is positive. And he ran those energies, a high voltage DC power supply, through an oil filled capacitor using a spark gap on the negative side. And it basically made a very strong, quick pulsing negative field that went through the body that deactivated this stuff. The same principle that garlic is doing. Okay, that's why he was unalived. I'm
And
about
you want to try to get your garlic from a country store or something if you can,
Yes,
or grow your own.
we are at the time of the great genocide, whatever you want to call it, in which anything that you buy from any of these big retailers, not all the time, but most of the time, is going to have heavy metals in it. They don't want you to find these homeopathic solutions, right? So the bigger thing versus not that garlic doesn't help because it definitely does, but the bigger thing than garlic is understanding that antioxidants, negative ions, negative electricity is what's healing you, and that you are in an acidic state, right? And you have to resolve that acidity by mating positive charge with negative charge to
Another thing that
experience.
helps you alkalize your body is in the morning when you first wake up, drink a whole bottle of water, glass of water, a big glass of water.
Mhm.
What it does is when at night your body, and I read this too, your body's all your poisons are all sitting down there in your bladder,
Yep.
you know, and
Yep.
when you drink
And
that water, it flushes it out and starts to alkalize.
yep.
So
And
it don't
that's
totally alkalize, but it helps.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's Dave's exactly right. These are habits. This is not just one thing. This is a series of habits. This battle for your life is not fought in miles, it's fought in inches. You put enough of these habits together, and then you'll see the targeting, right? Like if you question these human traffickers, they'll start getting real close to you because they have to. And at that point, to keep targeting you. And that's what I mean with this is a scale. But you'll be saving your life, right? So that's how these things work. And I'm not trying to put the fear in you. I'm just trying to get you to understand this is the situation that you find yourself in. And it's not just you, the whole society is being targeted with these weapon systems to a lesser degree than you. Everybody is. Does Holly have any questions or someone want to say
Well,
anything?
yeah, explain that to her. She just came back in here. What this dude did.
Okay, so Michael Trapala, this guy who was unalived on 125/21, his heart, what he did is he figured out a way to break apart nanomachinery and or synthetic biology, whatever you want to call it. You take a high
And do not
voltage,
try this at home.
do not
Wink,
try it.
wink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this, he might have been using too much power. A few other targets have told me that other people they know it's hearsay. I don't know if this is true, but people got damaged from this machine that he built.
Oh,
But it,
okay.
but it also did work, right? So
Right.
this is all a fine balance, okay? So I'm not telling you to do this. I'm telling you this is the principle that destroys nanotechnology. This is alkalinity, right, in a machine form. And at the end of this, we can briefly go over one thing that I've made that doesn't damage people at all. But I've told you about it before. But either way, he took a high voltage DC power supply. He ran it through an oil-filled capacitor. The blue side is the negative electricity. The red side is the positive electricity. These are coils. Each one of these toroidal fields is a coil. So he ran the positive, the north facing south, in a specific way to make a negative field, that's what these dotted lines are, move through the body.
So it was
So
like an EMP that moved through the body.
more or less, yep, exactly. That's what the spark gap did. It made this force into a very quick flash of energy. That's what an EMP is. It's a pulse, electromagnetic pulse. So he pulsed negative fields across the body in these four spots. That's what got him unalived 4 years ago, about 4 years ago now. He was treating people down in Brownsville and right across the border from Brownsville. I forget the town, but I believe they poisoned him at a restaurant and then used that poison to have that effect. Does that make sense, Holly?
Yes, yes, thank you.
You're welcome. This is was his conclusions, and I think he is completely right. And this is what led him to build this machine. And again, I'm not telling you to build the machine. That's not the point. The point is that this is the concept that will save society now because we're all infected, not just targets. But
I think the people who have the fibers and stuff coming out of their skin, I think that's the 1% of people whose body reject it.
yeah, more or less. And then there's the nanobots. That's where the nanobots come in. A lot of people that have Morgellons, they have nanobots. They're being sprayed all over their crap. And they're like, things are crawling on me. And like, yes, they are, but you're not feeling that. You're feeling clumps of nanobots. I don't have the information for that.
But I think their body's
Oh,
rejecting it.
Well, that too, but all of our bodies reject it. That's why I keep telling you and everyone I talk to that's targeted to shave. Shave because what you're doing when you take a razor and you're shaving like a disposable razor is you're shaving the bioplaque off of you. The bioplaque builds up on the outside of your skin. That's what your dandruff is. You don't have dandruff, you've got bioplaque. Well, maybe you've got dandruff. Most people don't, though. They are targets. Every target has dandruff, but it's not dandruff, it's bioplaque. It's dried bioplaque. So if you take a razor and you can just shave it off you. I shave every day.
Have you seen the fogs?
Yes, the fog is all the stuff we're talking about.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah. I've been using the fog to market one of my solutions that it's a minute video we can go on right after this. I'm almost done. Negative magnetism has shown to reverse biased electronic components to destroy nanotechnology. This is right at the top. Morgellons is being distributed with many different types of viruses. I'm going to go through this quickly. It is a combination of organic and inorganic materials genetically combined. That's what I was telling you earlier. It's a combination of piezoelectric crystal virus, fungus, plant, and genetically modified insects. That's all true. That's why I call it synthetic biology. It is activated by light from the sun and charged by radio waves in the environment. That's how they can make this grow faster in targets versus non-targeted people, but everybody's got it to some extent. It uses Tesla technology to pull in energy from its environment. That's why your EMF fields can be converted. And also the bioplaques that I was just talking about on your skin help convert those external EMF fields. So that's another reason shaving is a good idea. It creates a living antenna circuit within the body. It has the ability to both send and receive signals. That's that remote neural monitoring idea that moves through the community. This is the hardware of it. The fibers are made up of cellulose and metal. We already know that, synthetic biology. Let's just move forward. It is practically magnetic. Any large magnetic pulse will overload the nanotech microscopy circuitry, disabling it. He says any large magnetic pulse, but it's negative fields in particular. It is radioactive, giving off low-level gamma radiation. I do not know that. And let's just move forward, just for time's sake. Okay, so the nanomachinery, it's distributed in filaments that are put into all these things that we already talked about. Again, I'm not going to state it for the sake of the channel. It is only the way, and this is the main point of this whole little presentation. Nanomachinery is the only way to date to send directed energy weapons through the body's non-conductive tissues. Okay? You don't have many conductive tissues. Your nervous system is like the only conductive tissue. Your brain is a conductive tissue, by the way, but it's myelinated. That's what myelinated means, or insulated, which is myelinated sheaths. All right? And in general, the body is, so they even need the nanotechnology in your brain for it to be effective. The body is a capacitance resistor network. And what that means is that your water holds a capacity for charge. It doesn't distribute the charge very well, but it holds a capacity for it. That's how your cells can be acidic or alkaline, just naturally speaking.
But hey, there are
Uh-huh.
ways. There are sophisticated ways. That if people are tied to a supercomputer, they can target you through your DNA or your neurosignature.
Well, they are. They are. That's part of it. The bio, the synthetic biology is clinging to your uh, code where it can find it, and it's sending off some of that data. I
Right.
don't.
So
I
if
don't.
I lay two cell phones side by side and call one, only one's going to ring because I called up that cell phone signal. Same thing with the body. So if I want to hit somebody and not hit nobody else in the room, I call up their unique signal.
Yes, that's a big part of it. But the bigger the that not that's a big part of it. Yes, but this is biodirectional information, and I don't know what information is being sent. I can only guess, right? I mean, none of us do. I like blood pH is probably one.
It's basically
Glucose,
everybody's got their own MAC address, but not not
yes,
not exactly that. But yeah.
not exactly that. It's Bluetooth sensors is how this is being done right now. Now there are other people that do have MAC addresses that got experimental medical procedures in the previous years. That's been proven, but we don't need to go over that right now. That's just something to be known. Okay. Nanomachinery that grows out of synthetic biology builds crystalline structures that act as wires and biosensors. So a lot of people they think that this is all implants, right? The implants are doing only a small portion of this. They're connecting you to the ASN networks. That's redundant, but they're connecting you through gateways of internet portals to human trafficking stakeholders, right? The nanomachinery is actually the more often the biosensors that are doing the lion's share of the work. And not just biosensors, they're also the conductive pathways, the polarization pathways. All right. And that's what I put there. And I think this is the last. Okay. No, this is quick to right here. This is synthetic biology crystalline lattice. I circled the blue as unmediated effects. So you'll notice effects in these areas of just this all happening to you. And then the red lines are the conductive channelized polarization pathways. So the lattice networks, the mesh of synthetic biology, nanomachinery will grow in these areas primarily. And that has to do, this area, it's all specific to you, which area is targeted. But in general, this is because of digestion right here, this area. This area is for to get it up to the brain. This is to hold it all up in the brain. And this area is usually to immobilize you. And the red and the foot is just where it all collects because of gravity over time. So when this is fully built within you, this nanomachinery, what they'll do is they'll hit one side with a charge, like a, let's say a laser of some sort, a beam weapon, and they'll hit another side, like your head and your foot, and this whole thing will become charged with a big voltage effect. And
This is
that,
where that's why I experience vertigo a lot, right?
yep, well, the vertigo could be created just from this,
Oh,
but
okay.
this whole thing will create vertigo also. This has literally knocked me off my feet before when this has become fully uh set up. Is Holly still there?
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Did you hear that?
yes, yes.
Do you have any questions?
No, I'm understanding. Yes.
Okay, cool. This red circle area right here, this is where your organ sac. This is where all your energy is in your body outside of your brain. This is where the parasiting of synthetic biology is the strongest. So this is where it's the easiest to grow synthetic biology in general. In these areas, it has to be outside of that area, has to be manicured a little bit. Or however you say that, has to be mediated. So they'll use another directed energy weapon to create a pump-like effect to pull heavy metals into these areas. Literally, they'll use your blood as a pathway to pull heavy metals in these areas, and then so synthetic biology can proliferate to build this. That's how they're doing it. And that's what I was saying earlier with there are layers of directed energy weapons. It's layer after layer after layer after layer. They've got like I don't even
And that's
know.
why some targets experience one thing, some the other, and all that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But this right here is the foundation of it. That's why I don't even bother getting too far into the directed energy weapons.
And
The
no
sh
matter what you
yeah.
do to your body and get your body healthy, the theater and the gang stalking will still continue. You just got to
Yeah.
learn how to deal with that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll be less
Anchoring and all
angry.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be way less angry if you figure this out. So
Yeah.
you'll see it, you'll be able to laugh at it again. Because ultimately it's ridiculous, it's stupid, these counterintelligence procedures and games they play, and it's not worth your time. It's the stupidest waste of time. I can't believe they find people that will do it. But people do anything for money, right?
Yes,
Uh,
correct.
implant. Yeah. So just like focus on this. And when you get this figured out, when you get the habits of your life figured out, you're eliminating this from your body as it's forming in real time or close to real time every 12 hours, whatever it is. Then get back to laughing at this stupid crap. At least the gang stalking part of it, the counterintelligence part of it. And that's what that is. It's counterintelligence. It's a magic trick. It's look at my hand here while I do something over here, right? Look at this person's butt crack while I anchor you to be a rageaholic, right? Because that's what it is. It's not worth your time. Implants. This is what I was saying earlier. Yes, implants are real, but it's not as important, unfortunately. A lot of people argue with me about this, but it's not as important as the synthetic biology, right? The implants are biosensors and GPS more often than not, and they're connecting you to the wireless they're connecting you through a wireless body area network to the ASN that will sending data all the way back to the DoD and other corporations and universities. They detect heavy metal particulate, blood pH, glucose. We were talking about earlier. I don't know exactly.
The sad part about this, and Andrew, there's
Mhm,
some targets that get
mhm.
so freaked out by that first stage, and I was one of them. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I got through it, but oh, I know how. God, can't
Mhm.
say that. But anyway, I'm just saying.
Same here. Same here.
Some
We've
people get
changed
so
stories.
freaked out by the first
Yeah.
stage, they don't even have to use weapons at them. They shock them and traumatize them so bad they're
Yeah.
scared of their own skin.
Yeah. Well,
You've
they
noticed
hit
that?
yeah, they hit me with that all this I'm talking about and that all at once, and I thought they were going to kill my family. So I freaked out. I ended up
Yeah.
spending 3 months in a mental institution to cover me from a 5-year charge with the police. I was looking at assault. I think they had it at two or something like that for what I did when I thought they were trying to kill my family. Now I got through all of that using the mental health court treatment and just keeping my mouth shut about everything, you know. But it was a very dicey time for me. I was looking at 5 years in prison for what I did. And you know what? They were trying to kill my family because two of my uncles have died from this. Sorry, I'm sorry for talking about that, but this part of this. So I wasn't wrong, and that's a story for a different time. But
Hey, I'm hoping YouTube opens up, by the way, because Zuckerberg opened Facebook up. No more fact checkers.
yeah, that's all a ruse, though, you know. But
Huh?
whatever, as
But what
long
they're
as
gonna do, what they're gonna do with that, they're gonna
Mhm,
flood. They're gonna, since there's no fact checkers, they're gonna use AI to flood all kinds of different disinformation everywhere now,
mhm,
and use it
yeah,
as a disinformation tactic. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and then try to keep people on those platforms too.
Yep.
Okay, and then so this I have like one. There's like one slide after this. Thank God, because I don't really like doing this. The near environmental communication with Bluetooth sensors, they put Bluetooth sensors all over your property when they're wearing invisibility cloaks creeping around. And you can use a thing called ward driving. That's an app you can pull up on your phone. I don't know a lot about this. I've done it before, but you can see your house will be like, there'll be like 1,000 Bluetooth sensors, where there should only be like five or something like
That's
that.
why I never let my phone go to Bluetooth, or my phone's never searching for service. Period.
Yeah.
I
Well,
use airplane mode, Wi-Fi calling,
yeah.
because also, real quick, change your router password. Do not just change your Wi-Fi password. I can pull up in anybody's house, put admin. Usually the router, you go to you can go 10.01 point whatever your router is on in my
Hmm.
browser. Pull up your router. I can log in with admin and password as the administration username and the password, and get in your router.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you want to change your router password because it's
Well,
all universal.
for me here, what they do is they direct internet Wi-Fi onto the house. So I've got like 20 routers that show up on mine where there should be
Wow.
three. Yeah. Like I could go through it right now. We could share screen right after this. You could see it for yourself.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so conclusion. This is again just for people. I just really want people to understand this other layer that the targeted individual survivor community has been missing, which is synthetic biology, nanomachinery. Once you understand this, it's you're gonna find 1,000 solutions. Your life's gonna dramatically improve. Dave, your life has dramatically improved since you've been doing this, right?
Yeah, well, I'm still getting real. I get hit though. I get
Yeah.
vertigo and I still get my shocks and my vibrations, but it's 60, 70% less than
Okay,
it
so
was. And
yeah,
I get
when
V2K.
Mhm.
We're dealing with heavy street theater lately.
Oh,
And
sorry.
what else was I fixing to say? Uh, okay. Well, keep on talking. I'll come back.
Well, get more, just keep working on getting more alkalinity habits in your life. And then you'll get farther and farther. Like there's one, for example, I'm doing right now. I do a lot. And what I do, just real quick, I tie a rope across my belly. It forces me to belly breathe. Now that doesn't sound like it's very important, but it's super important. Breathing from your belly and not your shoulders. That's an alkalinizing thing
That's
too.
one thing I do when I'm getting V2K or remote
There you
neural
go.
monitor is in my controlled breathing, in my nose, out my mouth.
Hmm. Tie something around your belly and try that.
And you know
It's
the
helped.
trolls are going to be like, "Look, Andrew's telling people to tie stuff around their belly." I
Yeah,
mean, you know it. You already know. I'm just trying to tell them
yeah.
trolls are going to come and say all this stupid stuff, so be
The
ready for it.
yeah, it's a mechanism to help you belly breathe. That's all it is. Okay,
Yeah.
so get a lot of those habits together over time, and then you'll reduce and reduce and reduce. And then not only that, but again, the human traffickers are going to increase and increase and increase. So there is that element of it too. The reason because this is their money, right? This is their life. This is how they make money is human trafficking. They're literally trying to make you into a slave for as long as possible and then kill you when they're done with you. Sorry again, but this is part of it, you know? This is part of it. Directed energy weapons equal low voltage, low current inflammation for the most part, right? There is, like Holly was talking about earlier, where they can direct a very, very fine beam, but it has to be a very fine beam to make those burns. For the most part, it's bigger, or it's huge waves like ELF and stuff like that, VLF, ULF. They're using the whole spectrum. But for the most part, it's low voltage, if any, and low current, if any. A lot of, like radio waves, for example, is very low voltage, very low current. Uh, that it causes inflammation though, and that will hurt you over time. Synthetic biology causes chronic inflammation just by itself, the nanomachinery. Implants are for the wireless body area network data streams, so they get paid more or less and know what's happening with your body. Directed energy weapons plus synthetic biology equals torture, disease, and then that. Directed energy weapons plus synthetic biology plus implants equals targeted individuals. And targeted individuals equals a genocide that's ongoing right now and a new type of slavery. And the future goals for all of this is to automate while this is all happening to me and Dave and Holly, is to automate the system for technocracy and genocide. That's it. The depopulation. Okay, so that was it real quick. I wasn't ready for this, so excuse me. But I've
You want me
got
to stop sharing the screen?
no, I'll have it in just a second right here. Uh, Here it is. Okay, this is something everyone can do at their house very easily. It makes a negative ion stream in your general vicinity, so this will help heal you.
What is it? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't, but the screen's the same.
Oh, really? It
Uh-huh.
didn't. Oh, I was playing the video. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm glad you jumped in. That's weird. Can you see it now?
uh-uh. We've
Okay,
had this
well,
problem before on here.
okay, hold
Try,
on.
yeah, try doing it again.
Okay. Let's see. It would be right here. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you still see it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. This is it.
Is that the thing where you put the copper on the ceiling fans?
Yep. But you can do it with a regular fan. It's only like 30 seconds more.
Don't that absorbs electromagnetic waves and all that, don't it? Copper. Yeah, you can't hear you is why I'm talking.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's coming through on my end. I'm glad you told me. So what this is it's twisted copper on fan blades. That's it. And the reason it works is because it makes a vortex. It's like a tornado of takes positive ions in one end and pushes negative ions out the other end. So it makes your environment more healthy. And you can put these in every room. You can put multiple of them in every room. It'll help you by the day. It'll help you by the month, but you'll notice it over a month more so than a day. But it really, really, really does help. I can't stress it enough. It's so easy to do. Okay. I'm done screen sharing now. That's one of the easiest things anyone can do.
Right. Man, I really appreciate you coming out because every time you come, it's very knowledgeable. Um,
Um,
and I ask anybody to, you know, go to his channel, check out his videos, and I'll put the link to your Rumble channel in my
Thank you.
description.
Yeah, man, I'm taking a lot of heat trying to teach people this, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of pressure on me to do this, but God gave this to me like 4 years ago. It was like literally the craziest how I figured all this out. But go ahead and if you're targeted, you need solutions or you're injured from any really things that I can't talk about here, stuff like that. You can find my email on the Rumble channel and you can email me. I'm also on Twitter and I'm always helping people. I'm always doing outreach and we're all in this together. So that's my interest in this. I get out of targeting when all of you figure this out, right? There was a time when I just wanted to flee to Africa and just be done with it all, but I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it with knowing all this stuff. So I'm here and I want to answer your questions. I want you to reach out to me. And what I'm trying to say is that there are external factors you cannot deal with, cannot control. That's the human traffickers. You can only mitigate what they're doing to, some extent. But there are internal factors you 100% or close to 100% you can control. And I know that's going to irritate a lot of targeted people because you're going through hell, what I just said. But I'm not saying this just to say it. I'm saying it because I've been through it, and I want to help everybody. Because again, my fate is linked to everybody. So this isn't just an act of goodwill. This is for me and my family too.
Right. And maybe you want to clear up something somebody might try to pick up on. When you
Mhm.
said you just moved to Africa, it would still go to Africa with you.
100%. Yeah, there'd be a bunch of Israelis that would follow you if you went to
Right.
Africa. It'd be Israelis and U.S. military that would follow you.
I'm just
I
saying, what did you mean by I would just move to Africa?
Oh, there's
Get
places
away
in
from it, to get
there
away
are
from it.
places. Well, so this is too hot for YouTube.
Oh,
There
okay.
is this there, but I will say this, and I'm not gonna go into it very far. But I went to Nicaragua for 3 months, and the first 2.5 months I was in Nicaragua, it was the only people there that were targeting or trying to target me were Costa Ricans, Cubans, Israelis, and Costa Rican Americans. And so what did you hear me not say? You didn't hear me say Nicaraguans. There are places in the world where the governments or the tribal structures, which is like Africa, that aren't involved in neuroweapons human trafficking. So they have to establish the networks in those places, they have to bribe. They have to do all the nasty, gross things
Right.
these people do. There are places in Africa you can go. There are places in the Pacific Islands you can go. There are places in that's about it, really. I'm sure there's a few others I just don't know. But it's basically which governments will partake in it and which won't. And 90 something percent of governments across the world will partake in it. That's all I meant by going to Africa. There's a
Oh,
pl-
okay.
there's a place in it.
I
There's
thought you
pl
might have
yeah.
knew something special.
No, no. Well, I do know a government there that isn't doing this because they're being attacked by every other government in the world. And I'll go ahead and say it because I'm not planning on going there. But it's the Tuaregs of Mali and, geez, it's mostly Mali, but that's the other countries next to Mali too. But either way, I'm not suggesting you go there. Okay, that's a very clear, being very clear about this. That's an active war zone, right? Do not go there unless,
Right.
but
Right, because there's
also,
people that are so desperate they'll try anything. So you had to, that's why I wanted to clear that up.
yeah, well, so that's what I was talking about. But Nicaragua, uh, if if you want to see the human trafficking network and for your own eyes in its entirety, the NGOs, all the different groups that are a part of this, and be built, go to somewhere that isn't part of NATO, isn't influenced by China, and isn't a vassal of Russia. If you can figure that out, because that's the main nations that are behind this, Russia, China, United States. They're doing this in tandem through financing that's moving through Switzerland, and it's being organized by the families that own the corporations, which is the old world nobility. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a lot of information,
Yeah.
but that's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
right at
Well,
the end.
Oh, I've got a
Sorry.
question. I've got a
What's up?
question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so minus the implants, because I was taken from my home for 3 days while they implanted me for 3 days. So I have
Jeez.
implants. Yeah, I have implants from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
And minus that, they were hitting me with microwave radiation
Mm-hmm.
before they took me from my home. And that caused massive whelps all over the body and
Mm-hmm.
immediate diarrhea. Heavy doses of microwave radiation. That was the first symptom. You
Mm-hmm.
barely, if you made it to the bathroom, barely made it to the bathroom. And that happened all the time. Now they still use that on me. What's your take on the microwave radiation part of it?
It's 100% real. It's another layer of the directed energy weapons. They have weaponized the whole spectrum. Any frequency that they can beam at you, they're trying to beam at you intermittently. As far as your sensors go, you said you spent 3 days getting implanted. How'd that happen? If you don't mind
They
me
took
asking.
me from my home. They knocked me out. The
Uh-huh.
first time they knocked me out, they put chloroform over my face while
Hmm.
I was asleep on my sofa.
Mm.
And when I woke up the next day, there was blood all over the coffee table, which was my blood. I don't know what they did to me then, but they
Hmm.
also my home for 3 days and implanted me. I have implants from head to toe. So that is
Hmm.
how they were able to make me go blind. I have one in each eyebrow
Okay.
in the same location.
Hmm.
I went blind in my right eye. They hit me so many times
Did she?
uh, in the right eye. I
Hmm.
went blind. I'm about to go blind in my left eye from it. I'll have to have surgery again. And
Okay, yeah. I've heard of this. I've heard of other people in your situation that have been heavily implanted like that and got so the implants, and I can't particularly tell you because I haven't experienced this part of it, okay? So
right,
I'm sorry, I wish I could. But the implants are working as like, in the presentation I showed those pockets of the crystalline lattice structures of synthetic biology. The implants are working like that. They're like nodes. Okay, so they still need to have a
Magnetic field or
yeah,
conduct?
they still need to conduct between all these nodes. Does that make sense?
yes, yes,
So if you can limit the conductiveness of your tissues, that's going to help you a lot. I don't know particularly anything more for you. I'm sorry, I wish I did. I'll think about it. I'll put it on the to do, like how to, because it seems to me like you could, and I'm supposing, I do not know this, but I'm supposing. It seems to me like you could find the actual spots that have been implanted because I've got these too in various spots. They shot me with them remotely. They've got
right.
these. Okay, so this has happened. Lots of targets have that experience of being shot with these. It feels like getting shot with a splinter. It's hard to
Right.
just,
Well,
yeah.
basically,
Hmm.
when they took me from my home, I was gone. It could have been 4 days, but definitely three.
Hmm.
They put me back in my bed on a Sunday in my work dress. They dressed
Hmm.
me for work, put me back in my bed on a Sunday. I literally
Hmm.
woke up with a work dress on and work shoes on.
And you can't remember any of it, right?
Can't remember anything that happened
That,
except there
okay.
were markings on my arm, lots of
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
And my handler, once I met him, who was with the CIA,
Hmm.
informed me that apparently while I was under, I was yanking this thing out of my throat that they had down my throat.
You're such sick pieces of shit. Excuse my
Yes.
language.
Yes. He indicated that I was constantly waking up and pulling that out, and they constantly had to put me back
Do
under.
you remember if you had a sore throat when you woke up?
Oh, I did. My throat was
Yeah,
killing me.
that's life
So
support.
that
I
was
call life
most likely
support
that was
4
most
times.
likely that was most likely scopolamine, how they put you under like that. Scopolamine is what they in Colombia, what hookers will use to get Johns to open their ATM accounts and withdraw all their money. I'm sure you guys have seen some of that before.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's common. They've weaponized scopolamine since like I don't know if I'm saying that right, but since like 1970 or 1960.
Right.
So they probably hit an aerolized version of that to you. Okay, so as far as the implants go, I'm just gonna
I know where several of them are, yes, for
okay,
sure.
I'm gonna say this, and again, this is putting a lot of danger coming my way for saying this, but this is
Look,
information I've been sitting on for a long time because I haven't figured it out. But Holly, please figure this out. I'm trying to figure it out. You can take an inductive coil. Okay, so you know those hot plates that run induction? Are you guys
Yes.
familiar with that? Yeah, you can, you have to use a magnetic, like pot to run them. Like they won't work on a regular, like you have to use cast iron, for example. They won't work on like a ceramic. So it's just a hot
I
plate.
think I know. I've seen something on that.
Okay, they're called induction hot plates. Look it up,
Uh,
Holly, right after this is over. Just to
okay.
get this concept. You could, that produces a field and a magnetic field that cooks through induction. And it's basically a wire, a coil, and the coil is projected up into the hot plate. You put the hot plate on the top of it, or excuse me, the pot or the pan on the top of it, that would have to be like cast iron or something like that. And it conducts that energy into the pan and it warms it up. If you could get a conductive or induction hot plate and you ran it over where you thought these implants were when the induction hot plate was on at a very high level, it could potentially burn and destroy those implants, but not remove them from your body. Basically, break them. You could break your implants with an induction coil of the right type. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. Anybody could do this. I've done it before. I just can't reproduce it. All right. And I don't want to get into the specifics of it, how I figured it out, or I figured it out from another target. He figured it out by accident. He was this guy in India was running this hot plate and he had two videos and then he disappeared off YouTube, off the face of the planet. Never could get a hold of this guy to contact him again. Straight from India, he was talking out of New Delhi. This was, I don't even think I could find the video anymore. I could look, but I'm pretty sure it's got scrubbed a long time ago. But he was rubbing a hot plate because those induction hot plates are really common in India. He was rubbing it across his body, and he was talking about how when he found one of the spots, it would heat up really, really, really hot, hurt really, really bad, and then it would stop. It was almost like a pop or something. I can't remember how he described it, but it was something like that. So I made my own device that people use for melting jewelry. It's called a ZVS driver. And I ran my body, my head particularly through it. And I had the same thing. I burned out a few of these things, not enough of them to matter because they ended up just reshooting them into me when I was traveling. When in places like Costa Rica and Bolivia and whatever, doesn't matter, Mexico. They guys wearing invisibility cloaks, they shot them back into my face, right around my mouth and nose. I felt them hit.
Right.
So whatever, but you've got such a worse case of implants than I do that it would really behoove you and other people that have this level of implanting. It's not common by the way in the targeted community. It is enough to talk about though, to run those induction coils. Find an induction coil that you can run. The ZVS Max driver is the one that I used, but I had to rebend the copper pipe. And again, I don't have any of this information ready to present. So, I mean, we can look it up right now, but you can also, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the best I can do for you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Well, I thank you for coming out. And if anybody would like to come on here and tell your testimony or anything, go to hollyspunk@gmail.com. Um, uh,
Can I
now,
say one?
if you're trying to get on here, if you're trying to just talk to one of us, we can't promise you that because we get all these emails all the time, and she works, and time is very, very hard to
Yeah,
find. You know,
especially when you're targeted,
yeah, especially when
yeah,
you're targeted.
you always got headaches
What
and
was you
stuff to
gonna say,
manage.
Andrew?
Yeah, can I just say one last thing? Can people, my real name is Andrew Coleman. Okay, that's Coleman. I'm in Vancouver, Washington. um, if you could put a Google alert, if you care about anything that I've told you, if anything of this resonates with you, if you could put a Google alert on for that information, okay? Because I'm facing a lot of heat bringing this forth, and I have been for a long time. So that would help me very greatly if any listeners would do that. And me and Dave will stay in contact. Maybe we can do another,
What's a Google alert?
like if my name comes up, it shows you. It's a setting on your Gmail that you can do, your Google account you can do. And
Oh,
basically if Andrew Coleman, Vancouver, Washington comes up, for whatever reason, it'll pop up on your Google, and then word can get spread through the targeted community that something has happened. That would be greatly beneficial to me. I'm not afraid, but because it's been going on for so long, but it would
oh,
help
so
me
I
a
can do
lot.
that too.
Yeah, you could do that too. But Dave, we're gonna stay in contact, right? I mean,
Right.
with you've got questions, whatever. I'm getting close to another series of breakthroughs with machines and stuff like that. My research is coming through. So
All right. Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna figure out how to do that when I get off here.
with the copper.
No, with the Google alert.
Oh, okay. But do the copper too. It's so beneficial.
I'm
It's
talking
like,
about you want us to do a Google alert for you, right?
yeah, yes, please.
Yeah,
But
okay.
those Dyson fan blades, Dyson, the air fan, whatever,
Uh-huh.
they're like $500. They're like negative ions. There used to be those commercials a long time ago, but they're like $500 and they barely blow any breeze. The machine that I just showed the audience how to build works 100 times more effective, and it costs nothing to build, pretty much. You just need a fan and copper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming out, and I'm gonna